Hey everybody, it's Righteous Freed. We're back with another installment in the tank busting guide. This time featuring the Knight of Mystery, also known as Emily, who first appeared in LANGRISSER 4. Alright, we're going to jump right into it. First off with her talent, going to be a big part of her kit. Start off Kingdom Defender. For every one block move, damage is increased by 4% up to a maximum of 20%, so move 5 blocks, get the maximum. And magic defense increased by 20% up to a maximum of 100%. When you have moved 20 blocks, all skill cooldowns are reset at the end of the turn. So this is gonna be really important. That way you can get your skills up ASAP, fast as possible. Like Broken Spear is a 5-turn cooldown. At max rank with 6 stars, it is 20 blocks you have to move. 5 stars it's 25, 4 stars it's 30, and 3 stars it's 35. You really need to have a 6-star Knight of Mystery, but you can't play her at 5-star. 25 is not the biggest milestone, and it is completely possible to get it while you're in the middle of Apex if the match goes on for a length of time. Now see, I'm going to show you a quick example of her one-shotting once I start explaining her skills and go over everything else. But this will just be able to let her keep her abilities up as fast as possible. Now, the core of her kit for her abilities is Backtrack. When attacking, damage is increased by 10%. After battle, you'll be able to move once more, but you can only move the amount of blocks that you moved beforehand. So you move 5 blocks, you can retreat 5 blocks. 7 blocks, 7 blocks, and so forth. Cooldown of 2 turns, so you can't just spam it, but this is what's going to make her key, because you're able to just go in, kill that tank, come back, and then they don't get to kill you. She is not the tankiest person, but she has unbelievable damage potential. Now she deals primarily magic damage. You can tell by her pretty high int stat, pretty good. Broken Spear is going to be the main skill that you're going to be using with her in order to kill any tank. Attack a single enemy, dealing 1.1 times damage. For every block you move before attack, the damage you deal will be increased by 10%, up to 50%. So this can give her a plus 0.55 modifier just from this alone. So that brings it to a 1.65 damage skill. Really good. With Backtrack, that's another 10%, so that brings it up to about a 1.76 approximately, just from her kit alone. That is only slightly weaker than Elwyn's Sword Soul ability. And then you combo it with Kingdom Defender for 20%. Hold on. With that, so that would be 0.22. So you have 1.7. So you have a 1.98 damage skill from her base alone. So stronger than Sword Soul as long as she moves 5 squares. You're going to be able to do that pretty easy, especially because you'll be able to have this set up. Her next single target skill is going to be Siphon. Pretty basic skill. It's Sun Slash but magic damage. Attack a single enemy, dealing 1.5 damage. After battle, you heal for 30% of damage dealt. This is going to be great for if you are playing against teams with either multiple tanks or they have strong DPS, because you're able to exchange a blow. Like if there's a Luna, you can attack her with Siphon. You probably won't kill Luna because it's Luna, but you will survive and be able to retreat and have full health while she's damaged. They'll have to either wait a turn to heal, or they'll have to retreat. Great use if you don't want to waste Broken Spear, but they put somebody out there to bait you. A lot of people forget Juggler as a base, because he almost never has Great Dragon Bearer anymore because of Sacred Beast him. He can't guard magic damage. In the past, I've killed a lot of Reens, I've killed a lot of other DPS units because they were right next to Juggler, but he didn't have Great Dragon Bearer. He didn't Sacred Beast him yet, and they forgot that she deals magic damage only. So take advantage of that, because if you could just get a clean kill, you know, use that Siphon, kill off their DPS, retreat. They lose a DPS, it's going to be really hard. They're not going to want to jump in, especially if it was the main DPS they needed. Like, you kill that Reen, they don't have that AoE damage. Next is Forget. This is an AoE ability. You're not really going to be using this as a tank buster, but if you want to play her as an AoE, this is pretty decent in certain regards. Attack multiple enemies within range, dealing 0.3 AoE damage, disable all enemy passive skills for 2 turns. Pretty decent. If you go up against a Albedo, a Landius, you can do that to disable the revives and have somebody come else in to kill him. Shield, you're not going to use this on her. She's not meant to be a support. She is meant to deal damage, but increase unit defense by 20%, immune to defense, magic defense reduction, and healing negation debuffs. Last 2 turns. Already went over Broken Spear. Lightning Bolt, or Lightning Strike, 1.5 damage, deals 2 damage against Cavalry, or double damage. Holy Shield's bad, don't use it. Thunder Zone. This is another AoE which you're not going to be using, but depending on the lineup that they have, if you might use this against a rush team. Like, if you go up against a rush team and they don't have tanks, this is great. Super effective against Cavalry. Deal 0.33 AoE damage to all enemies within a 3-ring span. Super wide, super powerful. Defense debuff lasts for 2 turns. You can combo this really well. Just, you know, you do that to the rush, you're going first, they're getting to position, bam, weaken them. If they don't have a healer, or they only have like D-Lit or Rachel, then they're not going to be able to heal the full, which is going to lead to her 3C coming out. Shattering Thunder Slash. Thank you, Wikigrisser. But when it's coming out in May of this year, so it's going to be a while, but if you're looking for more AoE, because you can't play her as an AoE mage, attacks enemies in 3 lines for 0.36 AoE damage, effective against Cavalry, disables Helm equipment abilities, so those supports lose their Tenyo buff. They're going to lose all that extra stats from there. Everybody is just going to lose that. Juggler doesn't get to use Diversion. You're going to see just anybody who uses that, they're going to miss out on a big part of that. If it's an NPC, magic defense minus 25%, doesn't matter, but it lasts 2 turns. It is dispellable. But if the enemies are in forest, grassland, mountain, or water, convert a random buff into a debuff. This is going to be really good, especially when they are setting up, because you can just spam AoEs against them. Now, if you're doing AoE, you don't want to go against Juggler, obviously. You don't want to go up against Rosent Seal. But if they get one of them, this can definitely help you with stopping them, because then they have to take a time. They don't have their Helm equipments, which can mess up certain characters. Alright. So, primarily though, for single targets, tank busting, you're going to be having Backtrack, Broken Spear, and Siphon. These are going to how you deal with everybody and kill them. And right now we're just going to jump in real quick. A match I just had this past weekend. Yeah, Silver 1. I was trying out some new things in some of the other matches I'll post later. Let's see. Alright, we're going to go over this one real quick. Alright, we're just going to skip this. This is a really short, simple one. This is going to feature Mystery Knight just killing Juggler. Now, he moves way out in front. Like, I don't know if this dude thought that, hey, I'm probably going to lose because he sees I have Mystery Knight and I have 2 tanks and he knows he can't bust through both of them. But push the Juggler out right here, right out in the open. I have Iris. This is a free win as far as I can see. So, position, I faction buff first because I'm going to take out that Juggler first turn. Alright. Teleporter. Rachel gave Juggler a damage taken minus 20%. And now you're going to see Luna move up. Queen's Ascension, buffs 3 people. Even with Luna's magic reduction and Rachel's damage dealt minus 20% buff, because I'm on grassland, my unicorns get plus 30% attack and magic defense when fighting. Just able to rip through everything. That juggler had no magic defense. She is born and raised to kill juggler. Just retreat. Pretty sure he's just given up at this point. I'm just going to use Toguro, kill Rachel. Don't even need to use my 3C. Bam, she's dead. And that's it. I'm going to retreat after there. He's going to take 1 life off of Toguro, but we're not going to go through the whole thing because it's over. Very simple. Juggler's out of position like that, you can just one-shot him super easy. Like, there is no Sophia to give magic resist buff, so you don't have to worry about that, but there wasn't much he could do anyways. Let's see. I'll show the other one with a longer gameplay from Mystery Knight in an Apex video. We're going to go back to Mystery Knight right now. But with a faction buff and damage plus buff, rolls jugglers. You won't ever have to worry about them. Next for classes, Cavalry is going to be your best. Because it may be melee, but it has better stats. And you don't have to worry about melee damage reduction. The other class is going to be a ranged spellcasting class. Now, unfortunately, on Wikigrisser, they do not have her max stats at levels, which is very odd that it's only for her as an SSR. And they call her Captain France, but might just be because not a lot of people in the other servers use her. But I love her. I think she's great. The Unicorn Master right here, it's ranged. To get the same effect, really, you're going to want to use Sorceresses, but this leaves her open to getting, killed by melees. It just doesn't have as much int as the other one because it has range. I just prefer Cavalry right here, and it kills any type of infantry user, which we're going to start seeing soon in the near future. Conclusion, use Arcane Knight Commander, the Cavalry class. For class mastery stones, going to be standard. Armor and headwear, defense, int, HP. Weapon and accessory, HP, int, skill. Get that crit chance up, get that in as high as possible, give her survivability. You want to make sure if she trades with Siphon that she lives through the battle. For the Arena Mastery Stones, a little bit of survivability, HP, int, defense, magic defense, and skill. For soldiers, she has 4 options, really. We're going to go over the non-options first. Holy Pegasus, you're not going to use because she needs damage. She doesn't care about, living through the battle, because she's going to do that no matter what. She has too much damage to output. She's not going to get one shot unless you're going up against a Lancer. So you're not going to do most of the time. So don't use them. Bolt Rangers in the same boat. You need damage, not living through a battle. And this only works when you are attacked. Earth Elf Knight doesn't have attack buff, so he's not good. And everything, like, you might do increased critical, but his buff stealing doesn't happen until after battle. So these 3 are out. Primary unit's going to be Unicorn. Physical attacks dealt by normal attacks are treated as magic damage. Unit movement is changed to Terrain Master. This will let her go over anything except for, spaces only flyers can go over. This is the key to her core kit. This is why you need unicorns, because even in the spellcaster class, she won't have that mobility. Like if you put unicorns, then the only way to attack from range is to use an ability. Otherwise, your soldiers won't attack from range. So it's going to make it pretty difficult if you're a spellcaster. With this, unicorns, when you're on forest, mountain, or grassland, attack and magic defense increase by 30%. This gets these stats up to incredible rates, being able to kill just about anybody who isn't like Bozel, Luna, somebody with unbelievably high magic defense. Now, if they have a ton of magic defense and other tanks that are meant to counter that, you can do Heaven's Guard. Because while they deal physical damage and they don't give you Terrain Master, depending on the map, if there's not a lot of forest or mountains, these are a good option. Soldier attack increases by 50% with each block passed before attacking, 45% at most. These will give her even more power when attacking. So you can deal hybrid damage. They can take out the ones meant to block the magic damage as long as they aren't Lancer. Sorceress. This is another that you can use if you need to deal magic damage, but they have a lot of Lancers. You can use Sorceress there. It's very, very situational because you need to make sure, again, it's flatlands as well mostly and not a lot of forests. But they can do that. You can use Broken Spear. You would then want to use, hold on, Lightning Bolt at that point, because Siphon, they won't deal full damage. It's like Broken Spear, Lightning Bolt, you can do that. But it's very rare you're going to use Sorceress unless you're already in the Spellcaster class. And the last option is going to be Steelwing Warrior. If you need to get around class disadvantage, he's going to be your dude. When attacking, his attack goes up by 30%. He has the highest base attack of any of these. There's no condition to get that boost except you have to attack. When ranged attack, defense increases by 30%. She has decent boosts here and decent defense on there, so you might survive a battle. I've had points like an Omega attacked her, and because of her equipment with the Star Earring, she lived through it. Now I had unicorns at the time, but she can live through certain assassins if they don't have too many modifiers. Like you don't have to worry too much about Omega because he won't triple you with the amount of skill you're going to be building. Like you're going to get up to at least 200. He's not going to have 600 or more skill. But that sums it up for the soldiers. Primarily, you're going to be using Unicorn. It's very rare you're going to be using anything else because she's meant to do one job, and that's kill the tank, kill high priority targets. But she can be played in AoEs. Now onto equipment. You're going to need to give her a little bit of survivability. Red Moon is perfect. Int 10%, HP 5%. Get as much in as possible. Make sure that when she attacks, she will survive. I have chosen Aeolus Battle Armor because a lot of people are going to try to range attack her to kill her off, because she only gets the magic defense boost when attacking. So she's decent if you can get her int high enough to go against certain mages like Rachel, Listel. She can deal pretty decent damage against them, weaken them, apply a powerful debuff with the Broken Spear. And this Aeolus has saved me on her quite a few times, so personal favorite. Bloodline Magic Armor is always good as well. You can also use the Giant's Armor. Where is it? Giant's Resolve. If you are worried about getting critically hit and you just want flat defense, you can do that as well. Like if you feel like there's a lot of assassins, that's always an option. There is Arcane Battleguard. When attacking, you deal fixed damage afterwards, equal to, at max strength, 1.5 times your hero's magic defense. So with the increase you get, this can finish off somebody if they live at like 2 health or something. But I prefer a slightly defensive option with Aeolus Battle Armor. Helm, you want that Fury of Tyr. After taking action, if you haven't dealt damage, skill damage decreased by 10%. Counterattack damage decreases by 10% for 1 turn. This is going to be key. That way, second turn of the game, you can annihilate somebody. Get all that extra 10%. You're going to be getting up to over 2 times normal damage with that Broken Spear very easily. Other options do include Anais helmet and Chief's helmet. I would only use those, either of these two, if you have absolutely nothing else. Vampire Mask is not going to help you at all because you only deal magic damage, so you don't want to use that. I would rather use Anais helmet so I get the extra HP than Vampire Mask. Chief's helmet can be good because it can help out your other friends as you're setting up your other characters, but you're not going to use carbon fiber. It's not for her. Neither of these will work as well. I don't know why they make it available for other characters, but whatever. So get that Fury of Tyr, build it up, and you're going to be happy. Start Earring. This is what I recommend the most, because when battling against Assassin and Archers, your defense increases by 30%. She's going to be a target for Assassins if they get there, because they just want to get rid of her. They want to protect the tank. This has saved me quite a few times. Omega, a couple of Hies. It's going to pay off. But if you don't have it, other options do include Dimensional Jewel. I don't recommend this too much, but if it's the only thing you have, you can use it. And when attacking with a skill, 30% chance to reduce this cooldown by 1. It is a slight option, but again, don't recommend it. You can use Holy Ring. This would be the next best option because it grants you immunity to silence. That way, you don't have to worry about that. Bozo throws out a black hole. Oh, fails to silence you. You can still use a skill. Siphon to heal up, Broken Spear to apply a super debuff or kill somebody. Vidar's Rose. This is actually really good with AoE primarily because you can do AoE and then you have a high chance of dispelling a buff on them. Going to be really great. Going to be what you need to make her useful as an AoE. This can be useful even as a single target if you fail to kill somebody because like they're super tanky or it's like Bozel or Luna. This can make it easier to kill on the next person. But other than that, you're not going to use Drop Near because you're not meant to tank or reflect that much damage. You're not going to live through it. And there's not many other accessories. So the only other thing is Overlord Badge and a Pinch, but because that prevents you from getting mobility reductions, but you want to get one of the other better int options. If you don't have any SSR accessories, go for Meditation Ring. Immune to fixed damage, and you get 5% int at max level. For enchantments, you want Breeze. Ending your turn, you have a chance of 30% chance of +2 mobility, and when attacking, any damage you deal is increased by 10%. So that on top of what you already have with Broken Spear, you're going to be easily getting like the 2.2 times damage with Broken Spear when attacking. You're going to be very hard pressed to find any type of juggler that can live through that. Any other tank that isn't built specifically to reflect magic damage. I've killed Aladdin once before. He had Phalanx, and he had pretty decent magic defense, but I went up there and I attacked him from range with Attack Blessing. Wiped him out. You're probably not going to, even with that resistance, you're probably going to have a little bit of a hard time because of the class disadvantage, but with super low magic defense, there is always an option, and you're always going to have somebody to buffer up. There's not really too much of a better option for her. If you really just don't have Breeze, hold on. Let's Forge. Enchant. There is the Magic Enchant. Skill damage increases by 10%. AoE increases by an extra 5%. So if you want, it's great for AoEs because it deals 15% damage. It's pretty decent if you just don't have any Breeze enchants and you want to play her still because her skill damage will just go up by 10%. It's not as great as Breeze for her specifically, but it is one of the few other options. Full Moon is kind of tricky. Like I don't recommend it unless you have 0 breeze enchants or you're building up multiple people, but all offensive and defensive stats increase by 10% when your HP is above 80%. So that could give you flat in, and that can help you. But otherwise, just stick to breeze. Clock is a funny one because of her talent. You kind of don't need it because you're not meant to constantly spam. You're meant to get in and out, and then her backtrack makes her wait a turn. So if you want to be really cheeky, you can do that for an AoE team, but for a single target team, you don't want it at all. The Meteor and Blazing Sun ones, don't bother at all. She isn't meant to crit. She just needs to deal magic damage. All the other ones are defensive and not for her. So get that breeze enchant. Get it, get it, get it. Alright. For who you want to pair with her to deal the maximum amount of damage, there's quite a few options. I'm just going to breeze over them because I've gone over them previously in videos. I'll probably make a separate video for all the stat buffers. We got D-Lit. She has Accelerated Aid and Sea of Miracles. Always going to help. We have Estelle. Enduring Hope. Mini faction buff and gives her +1 mobility. These two are going to be able to just give her an extra step if she can't proc breeze. So, always good. Imelda is actually really, really good with her because of Queen's Whip. Give her +2 mobility, increase all of her stats by 10% and damage dealt by 10%. Gonna make Broken Sphere super strong. Probably gonna see a couple videos this season of me using her with Mystery Knight. Luna's good. Going to +2 range, or +2 mobility, I should say. She gets 2 free movement squares. That way she can just go over and have increased range, and she can, if you put a King's Crown, +20% damage on Mystery Knight. You can combo that with Tiaris. You can combo that with Imelda. Super powerful there. Tiaris, Attack, Blessing, and Miracle. That's pretty standard. If you don't have Lameness as your faction buffer because he gets banned, and you want to play Matthew because he's so versatile, you can do that with Sprint. Mobility +20% attack and int. As you saw before in that quick video, Iris, the Driving the Iris, puts 20% damage, and a teleport. If you have her, you can then feasibly play one of the other, like Heaven's Guard or Steelwing Warrior there, because her teleport will make them ignore terrain. So that can be a great combo there to get around the team choice the enemy has. Akka, Wild Power, +2 mobility, +30% attack and int. That's always going to be appreciated for her. Weiler, +15% attack and 15% damage dealt and 15% damage decrease that you receive with his high stakes. Always going to be good as well. Liana and Florentia have Act Against, which super benefit Knight of Mystery because of her talent, where she needs to move a certain number of squares. So these two are very good because if people just start moving up to take advantage, like you might kill their tank and they want to rush you before you can recover, boom, act again, use Siphon, and then you've taken out 2 people. They might kill her at that point, but if you take out 2 people, you can just 4v3 them and you can wrap this up really quick. Heck, you could just play the long game, wait until they're done. They move all their people, kill them, act again, retreat, act again, and you've killed 3 people. And then you've gotten your talent back up. I mean, your talent procs, all your skills come back up. Super helpful. Now, when you're playing Knight of Mystery, you need to ban a few certain people. You need to ban Landius. He deals a lot of counter damage. A lot of them are going to be Lancers. You don't want to deal with that. Get rid of him. Ledin is tricky because he has Crystal Molders. When forced into battle by a magic attack, reflects, I think it's a 30% damage at max rank. And a lot of them, some people play a meme Ledin where they have Dropnir on there, which also reflects range damage. So if you attack him from range, because you don't want to have him double strike you, because he can very easily kill you with that, because of his talent allowing him to attack twice. He could just kill you off of reflect damage. You don't want to deal with that. Ban Ledin out right now. He is not worth your trouble. The other tank is going to be Albedo. It's really tricky because she does have Crystal Molder as well, but most people won't run and drop near on her from what I have seen. But you don't want to deal with her. So, Landius, Ledin, Albedo, get rid of them. Any other Lancers in general? I saw in one of the videos I'm going to show for my arena matches, I played against the Vargas. Some people are probably going to start playing him. He is massively tanky. With Rosenseal, she is going to be able to keep him alive as well. Other units, like if he gets a Tiaris, oh, it's going to make your life hell, especially because he has a revive you can't disable. Now, you're not going to see him too much. I wouldn't worry about him, but Lancers in general, REN Rod. With Grand Cross, she can put you to, like, 2 HP or kill you, even from full health sometimes. You might start seeing Brenda and Shaltir. Don't want to mess with them. Like, Shaltir and Brenda, because you're ranged, you might be able to gimp them. But because they have high mobility, especially Brenda, she might counter-kill you. Estelle is not that big of a deal because she doesn't deal a lot of damage up front, and she doesn't have Crystal Molder. She only blocks physical damage. Phalanx, Heavy Centurion. So you can very easily Broken Spear her from range and not have to worry too much. You might not kill her in one shot unless you have a lot of damage dealt increase because, she's just naturally tanky, but she's not going to be that big of a threat to you. You also want to ban Sage of the Trees. He is going to be high priority ban because of his Light Array and Wave Whisper, because you're going to be running Unicorns 99% of the time, or you're going to have Iris making you ignore terrain penalties. He's going to stop you from getting to the enemy, and he's just going to push you back, and he's going to make you useless. Ban him ASAP. Don't want to deal with him. Going to be similar situation with Licorice. You do not want to deal with her debuffs on the field, taking constant damage and weakening you. Need to make sure you stay at high health, that way you can retreat and you don't want to step on and gain more debuffs. The worst thing to happen is you get silenced all of a sudden, and now you can't one-shot. Other than that, there are not too many other people you have to worry about. Like, from range, you can kill Elwyn because he has no defense whatsoever, even in the Lancer class. Very easy, super low magic defense. But, I don't know, just might not want to deal with him anyways because he can one-shot you as well. I've had mixed results against D-Lit facing against her, but I wouldn't worry about it too much. Yulia is a little bit of a pain, but manageable. Everybody else, just make sure they don't outrange you. And that is going to wrap up Night of Mystery Guide. Very versatile, in my opinion. You're probably going to see her once her 3C comes out in a lot more AoE comps, but I feel she is going to be able to kill a lot of other tanks. Especially, some people won't have Crystal Boulders built up. They won't have the drop near Ledin to reflect. So you might even be able to gimp them. They might go to stop. You might have her and like 2 other physical DPSs and a Landius, for example. And he doesn't want the physical guys to kill him because he has Crystal Molders. So you can play the long game with them. It's going to be very interesting this season to see what people play now. Well, do appreciate you watching this. If you liked it, give it a like and consider subscribing. Righteous Freed out.